Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hopefully, y'all had an awesome day today. Weird day out there again today. We're going to walk through it all step by step. How I did what I did to stay in the green today, not get too chopped up. I feel like I'm pretty happy with today's trades. We're going to break it all down, how I did what I did, and go from there into what I'm expecting into the rest of the week as well. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Kev, the owner and lead trainer over here at Momentum. I've taught over 10,000 traders, and I have going on 9 years of trading experience trading small cap stocks. So I know what works, and I've been through pretty much every cycle you could think of. Cold cycle, hot cycle, meme cycle, whatever you want to call it. I've probably been through it. And lately, we've been in a bit of a cold stretch. We've had a lot of stuff out there that you see a little bit of opportunity on, and it just turns out to be a nothing burger. And so today, I was going into the open watching four stocks primarily. I was watching AZI, FRGT, EPWK, and EPSM. All right. And leading gappers this morning, even right now, leading gappers FRGT. But something was really weird about FRGT today. And the whole time this morning, I'm sure you noticed if you use the level 2, which you should be using level 2, then you see stuff like this. And whenever I'm watching this, and again, I try to play it out of the open. Just take a look at this. And so this first pops to the bell, and of course I don't play it here because of course this is the flat top high from pre-market. We're testing here in market open. So it tries to break that high. Of course, I want to see confirmation. I want to see a nice closure of the candle first, and of course that doesn't happen, so I sit back and wait. It flushes back, and then it reclaims the 90 MA. After it reclaims, I take the pullback and look for the squeeze higher up through this previous high. And it starts to try to get that move, but then I look over at the level 2, and it's just gridlocked. You have this tug of war happening, split down the middle, and it's hard to tell who's in control here. And so I'll show you here. We looked at level 2, and what do you see? Again, it's just this gridlocked. Look at this. We have pretty much equal weight on both sides of the spectrum here, and so it's just hard to know what's really going on behind the scenes. So I've got no way to know, are buyers in control here? Do we have a big seller off the high? Do we have a buyer stepping up under? I've got no idea. I'm only seeing what's happening at face value. I'm not seeing what's happening beneath the surface. And so I've already got less of an edge here because I can't even really tell what's happening. I don't know who's in control. And so this thing is just choppy as all get out. I cannot believe how choppy this thing was today. It's unbelievable how choppy this was. So left it alone, it really reminded me of AMIX from the other day. Very choppy. So left this thing alone. This thing was a turd. If you traded this, focus on doing what's going to work long term. If you got lucky with this today, again, if you can't read price action, if you can't really tell what's happening, you probably can't replicate it long term. So be smarter than that. Moving on from that was SGBX, and this thing I didn't actually trade too bad. I'm actually really happy with this today. My only gripe is how this thing is traded really all freaking week. This thing has been choppy all week. If you saw it yesterday, this thing breaks out at the bell, flushes hard, reverses, breaks to new highs, and then squeezes in after hours on super light volume. And today, again, it starts to make a move. I like share price. Nothing wrong with share price here. And we get the opening range breakout where we look at this. We break out of the opening high. At that point, I'm watching for a first 1 minute pullback. I see it pull back a little bit here. I take the entry with a little bit of a looser stop here. I want to risk off of this high from pre-market. So I've got a little bit of a looser stop here. And I catch a nice move. I catch this, look at this, from 440. And I get a move here back up into the, really, I got to test the 475. So I was really happy with the move. But what the heck? Dude, my fills here were terrible. This thing had a 2 or 3, if not 4 or 5 cent spread all morning. Even on this move up here, this thing still had a 4 or 5 cent spread. And so I'm trying to take profit up here on the top of this candle. I'm getting filled way down here. I'm trying to get filled off some more profit up here. And of course, this ad was on a pullback. It's not going to show my other trims because it takes an average to find the flag. But this was a pullback entry down here. And of course, I was able to take some more profit up into the highs there to tack a little bit more on. But even here, again, my fills were just so bad. I'm lucky that my final exit here was above entry. I am really lucky with how this is a mess, man. So, anyways, took the entry off the opening range breakout. First 1 minute pullback, risking off the 90 EMA for the squeeze up through highs. I got the move here. Again, my fills were horrible. God, I can't believe it. Pulls back, and of course, at this point, I'm just riding the 1 minute candle low with my trailing stop. I raise my stop here, and I'm looking for that continuation higher. Of course, we don't get any follow through. What's new? And so break 1 minute low, and I take a full exit for overall some nice profit. I see it then get bought back up off the 90 MA and try to put back in a higher low. So I take a little entry, trying to get that curl back higher. And again, nothing. So nice profit on the first trade here. And then, of course, break even practically here on trade 2. Coming into trade 3, the only one that I don't like here, and I'll show you, I took the break of trend. Look at this. So we have this high, again, gets drug on down to the lower high. This breaks out here. And in the moment, I really liked this, but I think I was positioned a little bit too high. I try to get kind of aggressive. Looking back, I don't really like this entry a whole lot. If I was positioned a little bit lower, something like here, I would have liked this a whole lot more. So Either way, it would have been a loss on this first trade, but it is what it is. So I come in initially and I take it here up into these highs, and that's the problem here is, again, we have all this volume sitting through this price range, which again carries over into, again, future price. And so we come on over here and we're sort of buying up into this overhead supply. So I don't like this at all, really, to be honest with you. I just really don't like that. And so then I see it pull back, test off of VWAP. After it finds a big buyer, puts in the hammer off the low, I take a quick re-entry into the pullback. I get a small move higher. You see, I took about a 5-cent loss here. I came back and took about a 10-cent win. So I took a re-entry at 440, got it back to 450, did something with it, but again, bad fills. I was getting filled 5 cents beneath the high again. So not too stoked about that. And then the better entries come along later in the morning as well, where, again, look at this. So we have these lower highs. It breaks to the upside, reclaims the 90 MA, reclaims VWAP. I'm taking pullbacks here, looking to see if I can get a curl higher, and I do get a bit of a curl. And we actually get a nice little move here from 440 back up into 450. So again, a retest the high from earlier, this past area of supply we talked about, right? And so able to do something with that. I do fairly well on this. Again, you can see I took full profit up into the highs here and able to tack a little bit more on it. Of course, this thing was just choppy the rest of the morning. It ends up making the move, of course, later on in the day here. But again, it was just unbelievably choppy all morning. Even now, not the cleanest of price action, but all back this morning. Big spreads, not really any clean opportunities. And it just sort of is what it is. It was what it was. Moving on to the last one here, and honestly best for last, was ZYXI. This one here I actually liked quite a bit. Now we had this big move here to the upside where this consolidates. I want you to look at this here, and this is a fairly nice move. So low volume through here, puts in place this tightening range, breaks to the upside, and makes a pretty significant move. Now the biggest volume candle of the morning was the pullback here off of VWAP, and so that looked really good. So look at this. Makes a big move and pulls back. At this point I'm watching for confirmation. Spreads here were nice. 2.5, or what was the float here? 15 million sure float, but it was a 50-cent stock, so that's doable. It's not too bad. So it pulls back off of VWAP, and we see the biggest volume candle of the day right here. It puts in a hammer off of VWAP. I'm like, man, this looks awesome. So I take the entry there, risking off this past low to see if we can't get that move back up through highs, get a squeeze through, that's because we had room to about $1 on this, on the daily time frame. I'll show you here. Like a daily time frame, we had range to about $1. So great chart here. Awesome look. But it's just one of those things. Like, it just hesitates and I cut it. So I got a little bit taken out on this little move higher, and then the rest of it just failed to follow through, and so I took a full exit. And so great setup, and it just didn't work out. And then, of course, later it reclaims VWAP here. And you can see here, of course, this is all backside. Even here is a bit backside, but still maintained somewhat front side trend. Again, we had range back up into this previous high of day, so it looked good. And so biggest volume move here. This is the largest volume. Now, this was the biggest volume candle today, but then biggest volume candle today comes in. All right, so it breaks over VWAP and pulls back and puts in place this 1 minute low off the 90 MA. I'm able to play it there decently. Play it there from 63 cents back to 65.50. So this is all fine. Again, got a little bit of a win there. I watch for price to pull back, and it puts in place this double bottom here. Look at this. Double bottom here, put in off the low. After we see the buyer step in on this candle, I take the entry, risking off the low of this candle. Easy enough, right? Doesn't get much simpler. For the squeeze back through highs. Now, I don't get the squeeze. You can see here it starts to hesitate and take a full exit, but I did play it here again from 63 to 65. So that pretty much sums up the morning recap. There wasn't a whole lot moving. We have FOMC minutes this afternoon. We've got NVIDIA earnings after market close. That is like the Super Bowl of this quarter because, stakes are high. The market's underneath the 50 moving average. Yeah, we're in a tough spot right now. So expectations are high. CEO came out in October saying they had $500 billion worth of orders, so they've got to back that up tonight in the earnings report. So I'm hoping that tomorrow and Friday are much more active. Obviously, Monday was small green. Yesterday was pretty much flat. Today was small green. Last week was beautiful, man. I wish we could go back to last week's price action. It was so much fun. Winter is usually super, super fun. People are at home wanting to make some money in the market, so get some volume out there. But we'll see what happens. But all that said, that is the morning recap. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Hopefully you guys did awesome. If you did, let me know in the comments how you did, or if you didn't do well, let me know in the comments still. I want to know how you did. I want to help. So let me know. And of course, as always, make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this. And for a limited time, claim your 14-day free trial down in the description below to watch me trade stocks just like these every day in real time and get alerts, education, watch list, chat rooms, scanners, news, and so much more. And that being said, I'll catch you there tomorrow for an awesome day ahead, and I'll see you there.